Hello, and surprise, I'm doing a bit of a live stream now. I haven't announced this anywhere. Oh, there's my dog. So I'm doing an unboxing today. I'm gonna go shut the door. Lottie, shush, please. I'm doing an unboxing video today of a box of goodies from Baraka Shea Butter. So this was a gift, and this is my first experience with the products from this brand. Something that I really like about this brand, just kind of right off the bat, is that they work really responsibly with the people that produce these products. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool, really working to be, a positive influence. So let's give this a nice opening up. Oh, and also this company is headquartered in Canada, in British Columbia, which I love. Always nice to be able to support Canadian companies. Ooh, we've got a beautiful handmade basket on the top here. Don't want to break it while I try to pop it open. That would be really upsetting. There we go. Okay. I think perhaps if I expose this to a bit of steam, it might kind of come into its shape a little bit better. But this is beautiful. All right, so that was on the top, and this is one of the things that they sell. All right, we've got some documentation. Business card for Wayne, the founder of the company. He runs it with his wife. We've got some cards about some of their different products, their palm oil, their virgin coconut oil, their shea butter, coconut oil, more palm oil, and cocoa butter. Oh yeah. Yes, here's the cheat sheet on reshaping the basket. It says just kind of get it a little bit wet, spritz it with some water or pass it under a running shower, or give it a quick dunk in the tub, and then you can reshape it, and when it dries it will remain in that shape. Okay, good to know. Glad I didn't ruin anything. And then we've got some more stuff and their product catalog, which I won't go through this here, but if you visit their website, which is barakasheabutter.com, you can find all this information there. They also have some really helpful and informative videos on their blog and on their YouTube channel. So if you want to learn about like how shea butter is produced, Wayne has filmed and made some videos there with their producers. All right, product number 1, 500 grams of, get that out of the bag first so you can hear me over it. 500 grams of food grade cocoa butter. Grab some scissors. Obviously, the first thing we have to check is the smell. Oh, it smells so amazing. I really want to eat this. And it's food grade, so I could. Oh, my salivary glands are just a chunk of this. You can see it's a nice kind of soft yellow color. I'd say fairly consistent with other types of cocoa butter I've used, maybe a little bit more golden. Yeah. All right, well, let's see how this melts on the skin. And also hello to everybody in the chat. Thank you for kind of jumping on at a moment's notice and seeing what I'm doing. I see we have Denise here, who I know is in New York, and Salim, I hope I'm saying that right. Kanar, Sandy, Anne, Persephone's pomegranate. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. All right, so this melts quite slowly on the skin, which is fairly typical for cocoa butter. The melting temperature is right around that of body temperature. So as I'm kind of bringing it across the skin, you notice you're not seeing like it looks visibly oily, but I can feel that it is dispensing some, leaving some butter on the skin, massages in like really nicely. It smells so good. Oh wow, I really can't wait to work with this and incorporate it into some things. I feel like lip balm is definitely going to be on the list because oh man, that just smells so good. I just kind of want it near my mouth all the time. All right, what's next? Ooh, this is cold pressed virgin coconut oil. So usually where I live in Calgary, it's not really warm enough for coconut oil to be liquid. It's usually quite a hard solid, but it's actually warm today, guys. Oh my God, the end of July, who would have thought? So this coconut oil is really lovely and soft. So I have to be careful not to make a mess when I open this. I do like that they shipped it in a bag. I might end up repackaging this into a tub, we'll see. But it's nice that, it reduces the size of the shipping container. Okay, it looks like we got a little bit of, it's not leaking, but because it's sealed at the top and then the zipper seal is here. Looks like the zipper wasn't sealed, which is pretty common. So there's definitely some product above that. I'm just gonna try and not make a mess. Okay, squeeze a little bit out here. Definitely has a nice coconutty scent. I'm going to put it on my other hand, the one that doesn't already have a bunch of cocoa butter on it, so we can actually get a better idea. It's a pretty soft coconutty smell. More subtle than some of the coconut oils that I've worked with. But honestly, that can be a really nice thing to have a coconut oil that you can work with the virgin version, but it's not necessarily going to overwhelm the scent of your product. Because sometimes you just don't want that. Sandy Davis asked if the packages are resealable. This one is. The cocoa butter one is not, but because they're solid chunks, like you could really just like take a twist tie or something and seal that. Yeah, quite a soft coconutty smell. Certainly not like a straight, like, whoo, pina colada kind of thing. Really does rub into the skin really nicely. It seems less oily maybe than some of the coconut oils that I've tried before. I mean, it's still within the realm of coconut oil, but that's nice. All right. I think I might actually put this in the fridge to solid it up so I can kind of chip out some of the bits of oil that have crept up over the seam and kind of clear out the tracks on the Ziploc part so that this seals well. So just carefully set that aside. Wow, so people here from the Netherlands, from St. Louis, from Michigan, from Georgia. Oh, that's so cool. Kanar asked, do they ship worldwide? I believe they do. Yes, I know they were saying that they do ship to Europe. So that's, I would assume they ship most other places, but you'll have to check with them. I'm sorry, I don't have a firm answer on that. And here we have some shea butter. So this is also in a big bag, as you can see, and this one is not resealable. It doesn't have a like a zipper seal anywhere. And it does look like, this was just pan packed right in here, which I honestly kind of tend to like when the shea butter has been melted down to be poured into a container. I find that can often be a recipe for having your shea butter be grainy right out of the gate. That's not necessary, like it's not impossible to fix grainy shea butter, obviously, but it's just kind of nice to not have it be grainy so that if you wanted to cold process it, for instance, that's open to you. You don't have to like remelt it to try and get rid of the graininess. So I'm just using some scissors to open this. Persephone is saying, melting issues, Canadians don't really have those except for a few months of the year. It's so true. And I have a giant tub of coconut oil. I have refined bleached deodorized coconut oil that I use for making soap. And I feel like every summer I find a spoon at the bottom of it because I'll usually just leave a spoon in my tub of coconut oil because it usually really needs a good scoop in to get stuff out of there. And then we'll go through like a warm spell where it's actually warm enough for the coconut oil to melt. And I just, I'm not really thinking about it because it's just like, it's warm out. I'm going to go do things. And then I come back and there's no spoon in there. And I don't really think anything of it because it's, I don't know, I don't keep super close track of spoons I leave in tubs, I guess. And then yeah, I'll be like scooping down on the bottom, like, oh, there's a spoon down here, and it will have been like sitting on the top, and then the oil melted in the summer, and then sunk to the bottom, and then the oil solidified again. So India, Philippines, Romania, Wisconsin. That's so cool. Timber Vista is asking, can you provide a link where you purchased this? This is all from Baraka Shea Butter from barakasheabutter.com. And I do want to clarify that this was all gifted, but these are all my very honest opinions. Okay, so I'm just taking a clean spoon and scooping some of the shea butter out of the bag here. Okay, definitely quite a characteristic shea butter scent. We get a little bit of that kind of like smoky, like characteristic shea butter scent. It kind of hard to describe, but if you're familiar with shea butter, you will know this scent. It's quite like, yeah, notes of fat for sure. Of course, it is a butter, and yeah, a bit of kind of a earthy, smoky kind of scent. Jordan's saying in Arizona we have to deal with melting 90% of the year. I gotta say, Jordan, I'm kind of jealous, because in Arizona you've never had to get up at 7 in the morning in the pitch black and shovel your sidewalk, shovel a bunch of snow off your sidewalk. So I would be totally down for dealing with melting in exchange for never having to shovel snow off my sidewalk. Yeah, Kanar says they've seen Ariane Arsenault using Baraka Shea Butter, and she really loves them. And yeah, I believe Ariane is the one who sort of pointed them in my direction. So thank you so much for that, Ariane. Okay, so I'm just sort of spreading this on the skin here. It's getting, very characteristic of shea butter. You can really like pack it on. You can really put on a thick layer of it, which you can't really do with cocoa butter just because of how it melts in comparison to cocoa butter. I don't know if you can really see that. This is a little darker, you get better contrast. You can kind of see the like pull away, kind of almost like tacky bits of the shea butter. So this definitely does have some tack to it. Again, very characteristic of shea butter. I'll get a small amount and rub that into an arm there. Jordan says, very true, but I have to milk the goats at 118 degrees during the summer. Yeah, okay, that doesn't sound super, super awesome either. Okay, so it's straight pure shea butter just rubbed on my arm. We do definitely still get a scent coming through there, but this isn't crazy, crazy strong. I do think that if this was diluted, maybe like 50% or less, you probably wouldn't notice it a whole heck of a lot. Also, depending on kind of what else was in the formulation, but that's really nice. And you can see, so this has been on my arm for a while, and I'm still like noticing solid bits of it. Ooh, look at it, just kind of. Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, this is really lovely shea butter, and it's really nice and smooth. No trace of like mealiness or graininess, which is great for making cold processed products with. Of course, sometimes these things will melt in transit, and it's not the fault of the shipper or the manufacturer. Of course, if the like UPS or whatever leaves it on your doorstep and it's 35 degrees Celsius out, like of course it's gonna melt. So but yeah, oh, that's really nice. Quite a nice photo on the front there of the women who make the shea butter as well. Doesn't that just look decadent? Like I just kind of want to climb in and sit in there and just have the world's most like luxurious bath. Right. What else? Ooh, more cocoa butter. Interesting. I believe our top difference here is that this one is not food grade. It's, otherwise, the labels look pretty much the same. This bag is also not resealable, but also not really that big of a deal when it comes in big chunks like this. So these chunks look a lot more like the ones that I'm familiar with from like cosmetic grade cocoa butter. I'm just gonna try to work out a smaller chip of it here. Oh my guys, this smells so good. Oh yeah, just like salivary glands just going. So here are the two different types. This is the this one's the food grade, and the first one that we opened. And this one is presumably the not food grade, comes in harder, brittler chunks. Um, they both smell amazing. I'm not sure I have a good enough nose to be able to tell you if one is more chocolatey than the other. They both are really making my mouth water, so it's a good sign. Um, Kind of interesting. This one has a bit of kind of texture in here that I'm not used to seeing in cosmetic grade cocoa butter, whereas this one is, just like a firm, smooth kind of chip. Rub that on the arm. Very similar melt to the food grade one. I think it might melt ever so slightly quicker, but that's probably, if it does, it's so slight that you probably wouldn't notice it, especially in a finished product. Really lovely, like velvety, kind of satiny feel on the skin. A little bit of drag, but it's not like skitty or anything. But it's also not as like slippy and oily as something like coconut oil is. And smells incredible. Of course. To go get some like chocolate ice cream or something after this. Right. And we have some palm oil. So if you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I have never used straight palm oil before. I know I've definitely used plenty of products that contain palm oil because palm oil is absolutely everywhere. But I usually, kind of one of the biggest things that palm oil is used in, just kind of as palm oil, is in soap. And I usually prefer to use beef tallow in soap because in Alberta, we produce a lot of beef and the tallow often ends up being a waste product. So I've written an entire blog post on this, but kind of the general gist of my reasoning is when I worked in a grocery store, I knew some of the butchers and I sort of asked them about how much fat they threw away in a day. And it was a lot. And so I asked one of my butcher friends to save me all of his beef fat trimmings for one shift. And the amount of fat that he was able to hand off to me after one shift was enough for me to make soap for like 6 to 8 months. Otherwise, it was just going to get thrown away. And everyone else who worked that shift that day was just throwing their trimmings away. And that just seemed really, really wasteful. So kind of from that point of view, I wanted to use something that was local and a waste product. But we know that this that this palm oil has been, really sustainably harvested, both in terms of the environmental impact and the people who do the harvesting. So that's awesome. It makes me feel a lot better about giving this oil a try. Has a slight scent to it. It's almost spicy, if that makes sense. Interesting. So you can see that it is quite soft. Like I can squeeze this bag and it is quite soft. It reminds me of like butter at room temperature a bit, but in appearance it is a little bit more mealy, reminiscent of how coconut oil will kind of melt before it liquefies if it's just kind of softening, or babasu oil as well. All right, let's get a little bit of that on the skin and see how that is. Very, very light feeling. Reminiscent of coconut oil, but I'd say it feels a little bit richer when rubbed between the fingers. Has almost a bit of an unscented soap kind of smell to it, if that makes sense. It reminds me of how African black soap smells, which shouldn't be surprising since I believe there's quite a lot of palm in African black soap. Yeah, no, that's really, really neat. Yeah, no, it sinks into the skin really nicely. Yeah, reminiscent of cocoa butter, but I would say like less oily and a little bit richer feeling. So Kanar's asked, do you recommend using them in butters or lotions? I guess, what do you mean by them? I think all of these ingredients could be really lovely in both a butter and a lotion, but you would be using them at different concentrations. I do really love putting cocoa butter in lotion. It adds a really neat viscosity, and at higher concentrations can give the product a bit of a marshmallowy kind of feel when it's finished, which is just very, very cool. Okay, and then we have one thing left in here, and this is coconut oil as well. And I believe that this is kind of a special type of coconut oil that Wayne was telling me about. that is prepared traditionally. So yeah, it says coconut oil traditional on the back, um, in a way that involves heat. So it's not cold pressed. It's not cold pressed. So you get um, more of a strong coconut scent to it. And I was wondering if maybe it was similar to a coconut oil I once bought in Costa Rica from a local woman who couldn't really speak any English, so she couldn't really tell me why this one type of coconut oil smelled so much better than other types of coconut oil. So I'm wondering if this is the same. So again, this is a plastic bag that will not reseal. So I think it's interesting. The other coconut oil one does reseal. I'm probably going to have to move this to a mason jar or something. Guys, it smells so good. Normal coconut oil smells very, very nice, as I think most of us probably know, smells like coconuts, but this smells like coconut cookies fresh out of the oven with like the caramelized brown sugar and vanilla notes. It smells like when you toast shredded coconut like in a pan over the stove. And I believe this one is also food grade. It doesn't say so on here, so I would want to double check with their website. But oh my poor salivary glands! I'm kind of being mean to them today. Stay. I just kind of got like a pile of stuff on the floor over here. Oh my god, this shit just smells so good. So it's definitely, partially soft, and again, that's just going to be because it's actually warm in here. Another 8 days a year. My studio is like, it only has sort of one small window, and I usually keep that window with the drapes drawn to try to keep it, as dark and as cool in here as often as possible. So it usually stays on the cooler side in here, and then of course I turn the lights on and it gets a little warmer. Okay, rubbing that into the skin. It feels very similar to coconut, like to any other coconut oil I've used. I think it might be absorbing a little bit faster and is a little less oily. The scent doesn't come through incredibly strongly on the skin. It's definitely there, but it doesn't. It's not really, really, really strong. Ooh, yeah, it morphs a little bit on the skin with kind of the warmth of the skin. Like, it definitely still smells like nice, like toasty, gorgeous coconut. But I don't know. It starts to bring in quite like it has more of a base note, I guess, than just virgin cold pressed coconut oil does. Like it's oh, that's really nice. Eva was like, make a cocoa cookie lip balm, and that's an awesome idea. Like this coconut oil with the cocoa butter, and then maybe with a little bit of macadamia nut oil. Oh my gosh, that would be very high up on the list of like products I make that I have to stop myself from eating. Okay, it's mostly faded away now, which I mean maybe is a good thing, kind of depending on how like scent sensitive you are. But oh gosh, that smells so good. And we have somebody from Greece. Very cool. Okay, so here's a shea butter that's just been kind of sitting on my arm for a while. You sort of see this like shiny patch of my arm. But here's kind of a blob that I didn't really spread out very much. And you can see that this is sort of still here and giving us that fun kind of stringy texture that is quite unique to shea butter. And if I kind of go back and like check all the bits of me that I've rubbed down with butters, everything feels really lovely. And you can, I don't know how well it's coming across, but my skin kind of has this really nice, like nourished sheen to it, which is, all right. Well, that was very cool. I'm very excited to work with these ingredients. Kind of my mind's definitely already kicking into overdrive, thinking about some of the fun things that I can do with these gorgeous like scents and textures and things. So a huge thank you to Baraka Shea Butter for sending me all these amazing goodies. I'm super, super appreciative. They didn't pay me to make this video or anything. It's just the products themselves were gifted. So a lovely Canadian company based out of British Columbia. So pretty close to me on like a global scale, like, only like 1,000 kilometers away. Oh, we have somebody else from Calgary. Hi, Kaiten. We see Virginia and New York and Portugal. Oh, it's always so cool to, in Egypt. Yeah, it's always so cool to read through the live chats on these live videos and see where everyone is from. That's always just such a lovely little fun thing for me to be like, wow, like people love making things everywhere. Okay, well, I am going to sign off now and probably go see if I like find any chocolate in my cupboard or something, because I've definitely sparked a bit of a craving. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you stay tuned for some things made with these formulations. And oh, a little bit of a teaser for those of you who are here. I'm going to be appearing in a sort of an online show on Sunday. It is free. So if you want all the details, make sure you are on my mailing list, because that is where all the details about where to watch will be. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, and have a lovely day.